the meeting commences, I'd like to acknowledge that we are meeting on the land of the Bidjigal and Gadigal people who occupy the Sydney coast, being the traditional owners. On behalf of Randwick Local Planning Panel, I acknowledge and pay my respects to the elders past and present and the Aboriginal people in attendance today. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Local Planning Panel for Randwick. I'm the chair of the panel. My name is Sue Francis, and with me are my fellow panel members, and I'd like to get them to introduce themselves and to identify whether they have any conflicts of interest.
I'm Michael Berg, community representative, and I have no conflicts of interest.
Kim Burrell, I don't have any conflict of interest.
I'm Sue Weatherly, and I have no conflicts of interest on the matters.
And just to confirm, Sue Francis, I don't have any conflicts either, just for the record. We have 3 items on the agenda today, and we have, and I'll tell you the order, they are in the order of 30 to 32 Moore Street, Coogee. Then we have 1 to 3 McGill Street, Randwick. Then we have 21 Cook Street, Randwick. And I have a total of 5 speakers registered to speak on those items. And in each case, we will have the objector first, and then we will have the, it is invariably the applicant after that. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes. And if they want an extension, you can ask the chair an extension of 1 minute only. Remember, we have all received and read all submissions that you've made, if you're an objector, and there's no need to read your submission, for example, but highlight any key issues you may have that would be of assistance to the panel. Obviously, if you are an applicant speaking, it's always handy to listen to any objectors' issues and to respond to any of those issues raised and any issues that might be raised in the report. And the panel may or may not ask any questions of any speaker after they've done so. Please remember, because we are live streaming, any person using defamatory or offensive language may be asked to leave the meeting, and if that continues, you will be removed from the meeting. We are, as I said, recording, and those audios will be made available through Council's website. After we've heard from all the speakers and any questions we may or may not have had, we will adjourn the meeting, but that's after we've heard all 3 items. No determinations will be made on this meeting. We will adjourn and make our decisions. And then after the meeting, any minutes and determination will be available on Council's website in approximately a week. So with that in hand, let's start with the first item, which is 3032 Moore Street, Coogee. And I have 1 speaker who is an objector, that's Matt Koskinen. Matt, yes, there you are. The floor is yours. You have 3 minutes.
So
you mute? That's it.
Is that working now? There we go.
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
I've shared screen. I've shared the presentation with you. It's very straightforward. Hello, and thank you for your time today, everyone. My name is Matt Koskinen. I'm the immediate neighbor to the subject property and formally representing 6 other neighbors on both Moore Street and Major Street, and informally about 20 other neighbors who approached me on this over time. For context, I work in real estate, including large-scale build to rent, and I'm pro-development, pro-density, and pro-affordable housing. I'm supportive of this development, as are most people, but the unanimous view is, including our legal, town planning, and engineering feedback, is that it's overbuilt, didn't have the merit to deserve the full bonus that was awarded previously. You've received 100 objections across 40 unique addresses over time. Still, it's pushed on in its current form. So I guess today what we're talking about, I'm requesting that council reject the request from the applicant to add even more area to what is already an overbuilt project and reject reinstatement of the pillars that have already been rejected by council previously. I'm moving to the next page. This just shows you an example of the before and after of what this project, the left-hand side, could look like. The images are from the applicant. They suggested no impact of the initial FSR. As the immediate neighbor that is most impacted, we disagree with that statement. It's a very narrow passageway, and the setback with the additional height is very meaningful to us. We are a semi, and there's only windows on one side of our house. This new development will now shadow our entire house. And so the incremental setback that would be available to us if this is rejected is very meaningful to us. Also, on the neighbors to the back of the property, the sheer bulk and size of this development is meaningful to them as well to have additional setback and reduce the size of those walls. Because it does look like quite a prison on that side because the focus is actually given its position towards the water and not to the side. Moving to the third page on the pillars. The pillars magnify the overbuild nature of the property, and it's creating like an overbearing and dominant build relative to the surrounding area, particularly on Major Street, who are set in a lower position. So this is above them, and it just looks like a monster project dominating them entirely. Removal of those pillars helps them out immensely, reduces the bulk, and importantly, helps the sight lines that are shared the whole way up Moore Street, that have been there since the inception of Moore Street as well. Everyone has the same exact shared sight lines with no visual bulk. This is a picture on page 4 that just shows without the pillars. It's a dated picture from the applicant, but it shows it's a much more sympathetic to the surrounding development. Now, for us, we've raised this issue with council previously. We think the height that they put forward is bogus, and we will be conducting our own survey both before the build and after the build. We put this to council to do. It has been, I think, heard but not understood. So we're going to take that into our own hands. And importantly, we're on our 4th council assessor. So folks are not across the detail. When we ask basic questions, it's just not understood. People are not across the detail. I feel really bad for I think it's the coordinator is his title. He is doing 3 or 4 jobs on his own right now. But it's frustrating for me as an objector with a meaningful impact. I can't actually engage with council in a constructive way.
Okay, I'll give you an extra 30 seconds now.
That's all I need. Not even costs. The cost, these are either the best builders in the history of Sydney residential, and the costs haven't moved in like 3 years, despite having a 30% increase in build area, or they're lying to you. So I'd encourage council to collect the correct amount of fees for this project. And then last, what we raised kind of 2 or 3 times now, we've not seen an updated excavation plan, geotech plan for the new build, which includes a whole other level. These are coming right to the boundary, and we're about a meter away from that on our foundation and where our kids that are 4 and 2 sleep. It's really important for us to have a proper geotech that is representative of what is being approved to be built. I'll leave it there. Thank you for consideration.
Thank you very much indeed. Alan, any questions or queries? No. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Well, we don't have another speaker on this item, so we'll move on to the second item, which is 123 McGill Street, Randwick. The first person I have on my list is Martin Heald. Martin, you there, Martin? Martin may not have been there because he did indicate to the panel that he may not turn up, which is perfectly fine. So I assume the applicant, Joseph Sassin. Joseph, are you there?
Yes, it's here.
Yes, you're on mute. Mute. Unmute yourself.
I think he did, but still
No, I think he unmuted and he's muted himself.
showing his muted.
It's showing as muted. So we need... that's perfect. Yep.
I'm sorry. Technology is not my forte.
Join the rest of us then.
Look, I was making myself available predominantly to address any comments that may have been made by objectors. We work closely with council on numerous variations to this design, most of it with addressing as best as possible with best practice privacy to the rear of the property. And you'll see that there's even one more additional deferred commencement condition, or 2 of them in fact, to even push that a bit harder again with increasing solidity to balconies and lifting them a bit further. I feel perhaps there's not much more else for me to say. I was here predominantly, like I said, to address objections and any questions that the officers may have for me.
Okay. I'll just ask you, you've been through all the conditions of consent and the deferred conditions? Any issues with any of those that you may not have raised before that you're concerned with?
Look, some of them are certainly new to us, but we feel that we can work with council on some of those conditions and deferred commencement conditions to have them satisfied.
Okay. I think you'll find that if the panel is minded to grant approval, some of those deferred commandments, if not all of them, will likely be operational conditions rather than deferred.
Okay, that's great.
But that aside, the panel may have some questions. Kim, did you have any questions you wanted to ask?
No, I think I'll find out.
Okay. Sue?
I'm not here.
I'm fine.
Okay, I think we're all good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Okay, so the next item is 21 Cook Street, Randwick, and I have two speakers. First speaker is Edmund McManus. The floor is yours. 3 minutes. 3 minutes is yours.
Okay. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, all right. There are two areas I'm addressing in relation to 21 Cook. Number one, when compared to the current block at 21 Cook, the proposed development would cast extra shadow on the block at 23 Cook, where I live. And number two, the community features that I think should be taken into account. Okay. Firstly, shadow. I live in a block of 8 units at 23 Cook, which is next door to and south of 21 Cook, and so is heavily affected by the extra shadow that would be cast by the development. Firstly, it's increasing our heating expenses, and secondly, it's reducing the effectiveness of solar panels on our roof. Our block is 8 3-bedroom units and requires 200 to 250 square metres of panels. The north-facing section of our roof is less than 200 square metres, and so we can ill afford to have a reduction in the available square metres open to the sun. But in midwinter, there would always be shade cast on our roof by the proposed development. And shading just a single cell of a solar panel can drop the entire panel's output by 50 to 80%, so it's not a small issue. So the development would not allow us to fully access the benefit of solar power. Randwick Council has a policy of supporting sustainability. Allowing this development would inhibit something that the council is seeking to expand. The extra shade would add cost to the cost of heating, while also inhibiting the means by which we could offset that cost. We have already upgraded our wiring with a view to getting solar. Okay. Number two, community features that I think should be taken into account. A stated aim of increased housing density is to increase the supply of homes, and this is a society-wide responsibility. Cook Street, from Allison Road to Francis Street, is a series of unit blocks. The people living here already have shade issues. To put it another way, these people are already doing their bit for medium density housing. To have a smaller medium density development at 21 Cook rather than the proposed development would still be contributing to the medium density housing supply. Allowing the proposed development is asking those who are already doing their bit to bear even a greater burden in a number of ways. There'd be an increased cost of living, the reduced effectiveness of solar panels, increased car parking congestion, and the detrimental effect on the amenity of Allison Park. In relation to Allison Park, the eastern side of Cook Street backs onto Allison Park. The park already suffers from overuse and shading on the western fringe, and this is only mitigated by the work and money council puts into improving and maintaining it. Allowing this development would set a precedent that would permit other developments to cast shadow onto the park. I don't know if anyone is going to bring up NIMBYism, but I would suggest that those who live in an area should have the primary say on developments in the area. 7 out of the 8 units in the block I live in are owner-occupied, and all of the owners have been there more than 10 years. Do a few extra units of the proposed development justify the detrimental impact on the residents already living in the area, when a smaller development would still contribute to the stock of medium density housing? Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Any questions? So one question from Kim.
I'm looking at the aerial image of your property.
Yes.
Where are the solar panels located?
We don't have solar panels at the moment, but we've already initiated the process by upgrading our wiring a couple of years ago so that we could, have solar panels at a later date.
That's answers that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker I have is Stephen Tully.
Oh, hello, can you hear me okay?
Yes, perhaps if I ask Edmund to turn off your camera, keep your volume on, but turn off your camera, then we can hear from Stephen without seeing your face, unfortunately. That's perfect. Stephen, the floor's yours.
Right, I don't seem to be able to. I'm not sure if it's my camera's been turned off on your end or anyway, but I can't seem to get my camera on. But I'm the secretary of the 25 Cook Street Strata Management Committee. So we're next to 23 Cook Street, which is then next to 21 Cook Street. So we're 2 buildings south of the 21 Cook Street issue that we're talking about today. And I represent the Strata Committee, the lot holders and residents of 25 Cook Street. And that's about 50 people. And we obviously have put in a detailed submission some time ago, and I won't go through that in detail. But I'll point out that our apartment block is a 12 apartment building. It was constructed in the late 1960s, and it comprises, including the lower level of garages, it comprises just four stories, 3 above ground level, basically from Abbey Street. Constructed in the late 1960s, and it's a very conventional 1960s sort of arrangement. And we thank Randwick Council planners and staff for their comprehensive response to the 21 Cook Street DA. We fully agree with their analysis and recommendations to reject the DA. Our building, it's in good condition. The owners corporation has invested strongly. I know that's also the case with 23, our neighbours at 23 Cook Street, and we expect our building to be as it is, lived in, loved, and enjoyed by the residents, etc., for many, many decades to come. So we don't have any. There are no, it's not dilapidated, it's in great condition, and it's going to be there for a long time. And our residents, I think, of a very similar nature to 23 Cook Street. We have a strong interest in not just our building, but in the development of that area, of our patch of the Randwick Council area. And all the words everything that Edmund said, we have a very similar situation, and we obviously fully support that, what Edmund's saying as well. Our concerns also relate, I think, primarily to the solar impacts, but also the visual impacts of the 21 Cook Street proposed DA as proposed. And we agree the current DA proposed building does not exhibit consistency with those good design principles regarding neighbourhood character, bulk and scale landscaping and aesthetics in particular. We also note in the DA provided that the photos, in our view, the photo montages, etc., we believe were sort of disingenuous, if we can put it that way, in the way that they were taken, and they appear to be taken and used to try and reduce the visual impact of the extra several stories on the top of the proposed building. If they were taken from other angles around Allison Park, etc., that differential would be much more noted. But I guess that's the reason they were taken from where they were. Anyway,
I'll give you 30 seconds more. You're over time.
Okay. Can I just say that we also have exactly the same situation with solar and what we want to do, and that analysis in terms of there was no shadowing analysis done for our building, and we also have the same plans in terms of solar, and we also share those concerns in terms of the St Jude's Heritage Conservation Area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Any questions, panel?
No. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, that's the last item in this public forum. So I will thank everyone, and I will close the meeting at 1:20. Thank you very much indeed. We will now adjourn and decisions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.